What happens when a simple morning show interview turns into one of the most uncomfortable moments in daytime television history? Kelly Rowland, the Grammy-winning powerhouse we all know and love, walked onto the set of Today with Jenna and Friends, expecting a typical promotional chat. Instead, she found herself in the middle of a clash, so intense that she had no choice but to walk off, leaving producers scrambling and audiences at home absolutely stunned. Before we get into exactly what was said that made Kelly remove her microphone and leave, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me if you think she was justified in her reaction. Now, let's dive into what really went down. The morning started like any other taping at the iconic Studio 1A in Rockefeller Center. Kelly arrived right on time, looking radiant in a tailored cream blazer paired with wide-leg matching pants. Her appearance had been confirmed weeks in advance, as part of her promotional tour for a new wellness initiative, a project she had quietly been building for nearly 2 years. Backstage, the energy was buzzing with the usual controlled chaos. Producers hustled with clipboards, makeup artists rushed through final touch-ups, and production assistants checked camera angles one last time. Kelly sat calmly in her green room, sipping herbal tea while scrolling through her phone. Her publicist reviewed talking points in a low voice, emphasizing that the segment was meant to be light, uplifting, and centered on self-care, empowerment, and balance. Everything felt aligned. This was supposed to be one of those safe morning show interviews, where a guest could relax, laugh a little, and connect with viewers at home. On set, Jenna was already chatting with her co-host for the day, a lifestyle correspondent we'll call Monica. Monica had recently joined the rotating panel and was known for bold opinions and a sharp edge that network executives believed attracted younger viewers. When Kelly walked out during the commercial break, both hosts stood to greet her with smiles and quick hugs. The audience applauded as she settled into the plush chair across from them. When cameras rolled, Jenna kicked things off with her signature warmth, complimenting Kelly's look and welcoming her back to the show. Kelly smiled, thanked her, and immediately eased into the conversation. She spoke passionately about her wellness journey, how recent years had taught her the importance of boundaries, mental health, and redefining success beyond constant hustle. The audience nodded along, clearly engaged. Jenna asked thoughtful follow-ups, and for several minutes, everything flowed exactly as planned. It felt like a perfect segment. And then Monica leaned forward. Monica leaned forward with a smile that subtly shifted the energy in the room. It was the kind of smile that signaled a turn, one that made seasoned viewers instinctively brace themselves. In a light, almost playful tone, she posed a question that immediately changed everything. She asked whether Kelly found it ironic that she was now promoting wellness and balance when, in Monica's words, her entire career had supposedly been defined by living in someone else's shadow and constantly fighting for validation. The studio fell silent. The warmth that had filled the room moments earlier evaporated instantly. Kelly's smile froze, her eyes hardening in a way that cameras couldn't miss. Jenna's head snapped toward Monica, her expression flashing confusion and concern. The audience shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether they had just heard what they thought they heard. Kelly took a measured breath before responding. When she spoke, her voice was calm, controlled, and deliberate. She said her career had been defined by hard work, incredible opportunities, and genuine sisterhood with talented women. Being part of something bigger, she explained, didn't mean standing in someone's shadow. It meant contributing to a legacy. She pointed out that narratives of competition had long been forced onto women by media and outsiders, who couldn't accept that multiple women could shine at the same time. It was a textbook response, gracious yet firm, the kind of answer that shut down disrespect without escalating conflict. Jenna visibly relaxed, clearly hoping the moment would pass. But Monica wasn't finished. Instead of acknowledging Kelly's point or moving on, she pressed harder. She suggested that the constant comparisons must have damaged Kelly's self-esteem, and implied that her focus on wellness stemmed from years of feeling inadequate. The tension in the room thickened. Jenna tried to step in, calling Monica's name with a warning edge, and attempting to redirect the conversation. But Monica continued, insisting she was just being honest and asking what everyone was supposedly thinking. Kelly's posture changed. She uncrossed her legs, sat straighter, and when she spoke again, the warmth in her voice was gone. She said she had come to discuss a project she was passionate about, not to have her career misrepresented by someone who hadn't done their research. Her gaze locked onto Monica, unflinching. Jenna jumped in again, apologizing and trying to steer the conversation back to wellness, while producers could be seen gesturing frantically from off-camera. Then Monica crossed the line completely. She accused Kelly of being overly sensitive and suggested that if she couldn't handle honest questions, morning television might not be the right place for her. In that instant, something shifted. Kelly reached down, unclipped her microphone pack, and the harsh scraping sound echoed through the studio. She stood up, looked at Jenna with a softened expression, and calmly essayed. The moment Kelly disappeared from the set, the entire production descended into chaos. The cameras cut to an unscheduled commercial break, and behind the scenes, producers were scrambling to regain control of a situation that had spiraled far beyond anything they had planned. Jenna sat frozen at the desk, visibly shaken, while Monica stared ahead in stunned silence, her earlier confidence completely gone. When the show returned from break, Jenna was alone on camera. Monica had been pulled off set by producers, and the atmosphere was painfully awkward. Jenna offered a vague explanation about unexpected circumstances and quickly tossed things over to the weather segment. But viewers at home knew exactly what had just happened. Social media exploded in real time, with clips circulating and opinions flooding in from every direction. Backstage, Kelly had gone straight to her green room. According to people who were there, she was remarkably composed. She wasn't yelling or crying. She sat quietly on the couch, her blazer draped over the armrest, shaking her head in disbelief as her publicist and manager worked their phones. Her manager paced the room, furious, already talking about formal complaints and breaches of pre-interview agreements. Her publicist fielded nonstop calls from media outlets desperate for comment. About 10 minutes later, a young production coordinator nervously knocked on the door and asked if Kelly would consider returning to the set, even briefly, to wrap things up. Kelly's publicist answered firmly that she would not be going back. What had happened was unacceptable, and serious conversations with network executives were coming. The coordinator apologized repeatedly and quickly left. Meanwhile, Jenna confronted producers, demanding to know why those questions had been allowed, and why the interview hadn't been stopped sooner. She made it clear that her reputation was built on trust, and that ambushing a respected artist threatened the show's credibility. Staff members later said they had never seen her that angry. As Kelly prepared to leave the building, she changed into casual clothes and headed toward a side exit to avoid cameras. In the hallway, she crossed paths with Monica. For a brief moment, it looked like Monica might apologize, but Kelly raised her hand and firmly said, "Don't." Then she walked past without another word. The ride back to Kelly's hotel was quiet and heavy. Her publicist worked on a statement, carefully choosing language that would defend Kelly's decision without turning the situation into a public brawl. Kelly stared out the window, occasionally offering a suggestion or striking a phrase she felt leaned too far into drama. She was clear about one thing. This was about professionalism and respect, not hurt feelings. Within hours, the network released a carefully worded response saying the interview had taken an unexpected turn and that internal processes were being reviewed. It named no one and apologized to no one, which only fueled the backlash online. Jenna, however, took a different approach. She posted a message on her personal social media expressing respect for Kelly and regret over how the interview unfolded, making it clear this was not the experience she wanted for her guests. Viewers responded with overwhelming support, praising her for trying to redirect the conversation and acknowledging that Kelly deserved better. When Kelly's own statement was released later that day, it struck a chord. She explained she had agreed to the interview in good faith, and that while candid conversations were part of morning television, there was a clear line between honesty and disrespect. She said she had no regrets about leaving, and would always remove herself from situations where basic courtesy was missing. The industry took notice. Other celebrities shared stories of uncomfortable interviews they had endured in silence, afraid of being labeled difficult. Kelly's decision sparked a broader conversation about boundaries, power dynamics, and how often women, especially women of color, are expected to tolerate disrespect for the sake of appearances. Meanwhile, pressure mounted on the network. Agents began asking for clearer interview guidelines. Scheduled guests quietly pulled out, Trust, once shaken, proved hard to restore. Monica eventually broke her silence with a statement that only made things worse. She framed herself as a victim of cancel culture and doubled down on her approach, insisting she had done real journalism. The response was swift and brutal. Journalists, hosts, and viewers pointed out that challenging questions did not require personal attacks or armchair psychology. Jenna publicly distanced herself from Monica's comments, and it became clear the situation was no longer salvageable. Days later, the network announced that Monica would no longer be part of the show, calling it a mutual decision. Everyone understood what it really meant. Kelly never commented on the firing. Her team simply thanked the network for taking the matter seriously. By walking away calmly and refusing to engage in mudslinging, Kelly had made her point louder than any argument ever could. She had shown that dignity sometimes means leaving the room.